DreAllDay.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, basketball fans near and wide, short and tall, black and white, and every color in between. We just saw it. Game 3, 2017 NBA Finals. Golden State Warriors go on the road and defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 118-113 in regulation. The Golden State Warriors scored a final 11 points of the game. Kevin Durant with the definitive three-point shot in LeBron James' face. LeBron James gets stripped by my twin brother, Andre Iguodala. Good defense, bro. And the Golden State Warriors are now up with a commanding 3-0 lead in this 2017 NBA Finals. Is this going to be a sweep? We'll talk about that in a moment. First, let's assess the play of the players on both teams. And before I go through the rosters of both teams, looking at what happened in this game, I think a basic microcosm of what happened tonight is easily seen in the box score. You look at the Cavs box score, you got LeBron, 39, 11, and 9 tonight. And then you got Kyrie Irving, 38 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. J.R. Smith chipped in 16. Kevin Love gave you 9 points. Then we go to the other side, Golden State Warriors. KD, 31, 8, and 4. Steph Curry, 26, 13, and 6. Klay Thompson, a third banana, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. That right there, and then you throw in a guy like Draymond with 8, 8, and 7. Andre Iguodala with a solid 29 minutes where he doesn't shoot a lot of shots, but he plays great defense and makes the right plays defensively and offensively for the Warriors that don't show up on the stat sheet. That alone right there. You got a couple role players. If you want to call I wouldn't even call Draymond a role player. He's an all-star. Just doesn't score a lot of points. A solid role guy in Iggy. A solid role guy in Livingston. 3 guys who can put the ball in the basket every night between Steph, KD, and Klay Thompson on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who's a solid role player on the Cleveland Cavaliers? I can't point out anyone who's been solid, at least not in this series. Tristan Thompson has been neutralized. He's been vaporized into nothingness in this series. Kyrie and LeBron got their points. Kyrie finally had a good game scoring-wise, but not good enough. LeBron had another great game, near triple-double. He's averaging a triple-double in the finals. Kevin Love, only 9 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 steals, but he couldn't put the ball in the basket tonight. J.R. Smith gave you 16. Nobody else on the team gave you anything. That's basically the series right there. The Golden State Warriors, and basically what a lot of fans have been saying, even the casual observer who doesn't even watch basketball that close can say, look, yes, the Cavs beat them last year, but last year the Warriors had Harrison Barnes. This year they got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is arguably, we're not going to make this a debate right now, but arguably the second best basketball player in the world behind LeBron James. You add him, I think we all can agree he's top 5 no matter where you put him in that group. He's top 5. You put one of the top 5 players in the world on a team that just won 73 games, they're going to be pretty tough to stop. And tonight proved that, because Cleveland Cavs, in my opinion, gave the Warriors their best possible shot in the way that they performed tonight. The points that they got from Kyrie, what they got from LeBron as usual. J.R. Smith finally waking up. He didn't do anything else of substance in this game, but he did score points. He shot 10 three-pointers. He made 5 of them. That was basically all he did. He made a free throw. That was his 16 points. Kevin Love was 1 for 9 from the floor, but he did grab 13 rebounds. You can't count on anybody else on this team for anything. Kyle Korver made 2 threes and a field goal. Richard Jefferson, 1 point. Darren Williams, 0. Shumpert, 2 points. That's it. I mean, you can't depend on anybody else on this Cavs roster for anything. Now, let's look at the Golden State Warriors. It's funny that they actually, looking at these rosters, is amazing to believe that this Cleveland Cavs team actually beat them last year in the finals. But the difference of adding a guy like Kevin Durant and the Cavs, losing a role player, you think of somebody like Matthew Dellavedova, who could come in and give Kyrie a little bit of a blow. And I think Matthew Dellavedova last year was better than Darren Williams is right now. Y'all tell me. I mean, that kind of difference can make a difference. And also Draymond Green missing game 4, which he didn't. I don't think he's going to miss it this year. I don't think he did anything that he can get suspended for in between now and Friday. But the Golden State Warriors, we already talked about KD, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and a block, 10 for 18 from the floor, 4 for 7 from 3. This is what makes Kevin Durant so devastating on this team as opposed to when he was in Oklahoma City. He doesn't have to force the action. He doesn't have to take a whole bunch of tough shots. He doesn't have to go one-on-one a whole lot of times. He's getting efficient open shots. And even when he does go one-on-one, is a high percentage type of one-on-one is the best way I can explain it. Kevin Durant going one-on-one is a good proposition if you're the coach of the team. You don't want him doing it all game. But every once in a while he does it, like that 3 he hit in LeBron's face at the end of the game. You want him taking shots like that, but he doesn't have to do it so often. That's how he only has to shoot 18 shots to get 31 points. And this is a normal night for Kevin Durant playing on this team. And I expect looking ahead past this series, next year Kevin Durant is going to have probably his highest shooting percentage in his career in the league because of the way that this team is going to gel and the fact that he won't have to force any more shots as long as they can keep this team together, which I think that they will, especially if they win this finals, especially if they sweep this finals. But KD is KD. We know what he's bringing to the table. Steph Curry, 26 points. This man hit some 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. This man made some 5 for 9 from 3. So he's making more threes than he's missing. Klay Thompson was 6 for 11 from 3. Warriors was 16 for 33 from downtown, which if you don't know, that's a very high percentage. If they had taken one less 3 that they missed, they would have been 50%. So what that percentage is, 16 for 33, somebody grab your calculator. I don't know, but that's a pretty damn high percentage. When your biggest 3-point shooters and Steph, Klay, and KD all make more threes than they miss, you're probably losing to the Warriors that night. And the Cavs, I mean, they were 5 points down. They lost the game by 5 points, and these guys making shots like this, man, this is a team. This is the championship. These are the best 2 teams in the league. Steph Curry, 26 points. He made some back-breaking buckets, some really back-breaking buckets. There was a couple times the Cavs missed shots that they should have made, had turnovers that they shouldn't have had. Steph Curry comes down the other end and makes a 3-pointer, and it's just a back-breaker when he makes those shots because it's a 5-point swing or a 6-point swing. The 2 points or 3 points the Cavs didn't get, and the 3 points that Steph Curry did get. He did it a couple times in this game where I said, man, that sequence right there is going to hurt the Cavs in the long run. Now, something like that happens in the first quarter or second quarter, early in the third, you don't think of it at the end of the game when it's a 5-point game, but those little sequences make the difference between wins and losses. And Steph Curry made a couple of those shots tonight that are going to haunt the Cavaliers in their sleep. Klay Thompson finally came alive, 30 points, 6 of 11 from deep. He shot a KD-like 11 for 18 from the floor, 61%. Grabbed 6 rebounds. I think he had, 16 points in the first quarter. That's the thing about this team is that Klay Thompson's a guy you might be arguing with somebody about the Warriors and forget to even mention Klay Thompson. Then he comes out the court and scores 30 points in an NBA Finals game. And, I mean, that's the reason he's an all-star. That's the reason why this team is so devastating. Then a guy like Draymond, who's an all-star, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He was in foul trouble tonight. Draymond complains to the rest of every time he gets called for a foul, but, I mean, it's his normal thing, so they don't get mad at him. He did get a T tonight, but he didn't get another one. So 32 minutes on the floor. He still had a steal, still had a block. This guy anchors Golden State's defense, and Kevin Durant has become a terror defensively that he was not earlier in his career. The only time I seen KD really play great defense, team defense, and individual D was in the playoffs last year for OKC, particularly against Golden State. When they were giving the Warriors problems up 3-1, all of a sudden they lost 3 in a row. But KD was killing Golden State defensively last year when he was with OKC. He's continued that this year with the Golden State Warriors. Add him to a guy like Draymond, who's a great team defender and a great individual defender himself. And this team is, as I said, pretty tough to stop. Then you throw in a couple role players. You don't need everybody to be great. You got a guy like David West, just don't mess up. He's a guy who you can put in, you know he's not going to mess up. He's not going to hurt you. He ain't going to dominate, but he's not going to hurt you. He made all 3 of his shots, made a free throw, gave you 7 quick points, which again, in a 5-point NBA Finals game, those 7 points matter. Sean Livingston only played 12 minutes, but he scored 6 points in his 12 minutes. And then Andre Iguodala played 30 minutes, only scored 7 points, but he gave you 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a block in 29 minutes. 4 defensive rebounds, 2 turnovers, 3 fouls, and the game-saving defensive play when he stripped or blocked, whatever you want to call that, LeBron James on his way up on that inbounds pass when LeBron looked like he was going to try to shoot a 3. Iguodala made the big defensive stop. Ladies and gentlemen, this team is this team is pretty much what all the prognosticators, even myself, even though I picked the Cavs, all the prognosticators, everyone who watches basketball said before this series, this team is just super talented. It's hard to beat a team that has 4 all-stars, a couple role players who play their roles to a T. You got to play a perfect game to beat them, and even when you give your best shot, and I think the Cavs gave a pretty good shot tonight, save for Kevin Love not making any shots. Other than that, the Cavs gave a pretty good effort tonight at home, down 2-0 in the NBA Finals. I mean, you can't say they didn't have incentive to come out and play. They just couldn't get it done against this team. Now they're in the 3-0 hole. So what do we think is going to happen moving forward in this series? Do we think the Cleveland Cavs are going to come out and at least play for pride, quote-unquote play for pride, and not get swept on their home court? I think they will show up and come to play. I think there are some diehard Cavs fans out there. I see y'all out there. Diehard Cavs and LeBron fans. My man B, I know he's a diehard Cavs fan. So maybe some people out there think that the Cavs are going to pull off a reverse sweep Y'all know what the reverse sweep is, right? That's when you're down 3 games to none, and then you sweep the other team and you win 4 straight. So maybe the Cavs, maybe the Cavs can pull up. maybe the Cavs can pull out the reverse sweep and win 4 games in a row against the Golden State Warriors. So last year the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. Maybe this year they blow a 3-0 lead, and they can still blow a 3-1 lead at the Cavs because they got to win Game 4 to pull off the reverse sweep. I really don't have that much more to say about this, but I will tell you that I was talking to my guy, Coach Dunn. I know he's watching this video. He says he likes watching these, but he mentioned something that I hadn't mentioned in my previous couple reviews, is that the Cavaliers, 2 things. Number one, the Cavaliers, and many of you mentioned also in the comments, I'm not going to say he's the only one, but many of you mentioned this in the comments, that the Cavaliers are playing at way too fast of a pace, trying to go bucket for bucket with the Warriors. They don't have the horses. No team in the NBA has the horses to go bucket for bucket with the Golden State Warriors. You don't want to play into their hands. You got to play your style, whatever that happens to be. Last year for the Cavs, remember Game 7, I think the final score was 93-89 or something close to that. It was under 100 points. It was a low scoring. That was like in the 90s type of games that they used to play back then, back in the Jordan, Barkley, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing era. That's the kind of game it was last year when the Cavs won the championship. But this year, every score has been in the hundreds. Let's see, 118, 113. Game 2 was 132, 113. Game 1 was 113, 91. So somebody scored 113 points every game in this series. Is just too fast of a pace. The Warriors have more scores. They play a better up-tempo game than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs don't have the guys who can play that way. They got guys who can play their role, the half-court set, with a guy like LeBron and Kyrie Irving doing their thing, but they've been kind of playing into the Warriors' hands. Now, I will say that the Cavaliers have a coaching staff. They probably got like 7 or 8 coaches, counting their head coach. I'm sure there's somebody in that group that said, you know what, we don't want to play at the Warriors style because they move a little bit too fast. We need to slow the game down. It may just be a matter of they know that, the same thing that all of us know. I mean, it's their full-time job to assess this stuff. So I'm sure somebody knows that. Maybe even one of the players knows that, but maybe they just can't do it. I mean, the thing about being a professional at what you do is not so much that you can trick the opponent with what you bring to the table, is that even though they know what you're going to do, you do it anyway, and they still can't stop you. It's like people know Kevin Durant likes to pull up for 3. People know Steph Curry likes to shoot crazy shots off the dribble. People know Klay Thompson's going to catch and shoot. You know it, but it doesn't mean you can stop it. So it's one thing to know it's coming, it's another thing to be able to stop them from doing what they want to do. And on top of that, something that the Warriors don't get a lot of credit for is their great defense. This team is staunch defensively. Steph Curry is a better defender than Kyrie Irving, a team defender. Individually, I'm not sure he's that much of a stopper. Steph Curry's not that much of a stopper one-on-one, but team defense-wise, Steph Curry is on point. He's aware, and he's engaged. Kyrie Irving has some defensive lapses that I don't see Steph Curry making, because I think on this Warriors team, defense is emphasized more. More is demanded of Steph Curry defensively than what is demanded of Kyrie playing on the Cleveland Cavs. On top of that, having a guy like KD who can patrol that back line and basically play center, especially against a team that doesn't have a big bruising force in the paint like the Cleveland Cavs, and a guy like Draymond who's like the anchor of the D, who's always in the right place, makes the right moves, helps at the right time, helps at the right amounts to not get caught out there, and everybody else on the team, that energy infects everybody else on the club, and that's something that should be mentioned. So the pace that the Warriors have the Cavs playing at, I don't think the Cavs want to play at that pace. It's just that they might not be able to help it. I mean, if they're missing 3-pointers, because you look at their role players, the Cavs 3-pointers, the Cavs role players rather, we know that long shots equal long rebounds, right? If they don't go in. Kyle Korver, Richard Jefferson, Shumpert, J.R. Smith, these guys don't create shots off the dribble. Not even Darren Williams can't anymore. Channing Frye didn't play, but he can't anymore. Kevin Love doesn't really create shots off the dribble. I don't think Kevin Love got 1 touch in the post tonight. Did he get any touches in the post tonight? So all these guys are shooting 3-pointers besides LeBron and Kyrie. So if they miss, then you're going to have a transition situation, and that's how Golden State is getting their shot. So it's not only that the Cavs can't stop the Warriors from playing transition, but basically by the makeup of the Cleveland team, they have to play that way. That's what works for them. That's what worked for them against the Pacers. It worked against who they play in the second round. I can't even remember who they played. The Raptors. And then it worked against the Boston Celtics. It worked for them. That kick out, hit those 3-pointers, and if they miss, they get back. The other team may get a few transition buckets, but does anybody on the Pacers, on the Raptors, or on the Celtics got the kind of horses that the Warriors have? No, they don't. So it's just a different beast you're going up against the Warriors, and there's no other team in the NBA that has this mix of offensive talent combined with defensive ability that is giving the Cavs such trouble that they're down 3-0 in the NBA Finals. And there was one other thing that people had mentioned. One of them was, obviously, well, several things. One was KD replacing Harrison Barnes. We all knew about that. Another was the pace that the Warriors have the Cavs playing at. And the third one was just the way the Warriors play defense. It doesn't get mentioned so much because you got a guy like KD who can average 30, a guy like Steph who shoots threes from wherever he feels like it, a guy like Clay who can catch fire and drop 30 any given night. Because of all those things, people don't really talk about their defense. But this team is very tough defensively. And the Cavs, I mean, what more could you ask from a guy like LeBron? What more can you ask for from Kyrie Irving? 38.6 rebounds, 16 for 29 from the floor. They both shot over 55% from the floor tonight. J.R. Smith was 50% from the floor. LeBron 39, 11, and 9. I mean, what more could you ask from these guys? I don't know what more you can expect from them for them to compete with this team. And at the end of the game, 11 straight points for the Warriors. The Cavs couldn't get a good look. Kyrie shot a long two-pointer that I'm not sure he should have shot. I don't know what the Cavs had in mind offensively. Really, I think they would have to go isolation in that situation. Maybe you give it to Kyrie because he's so great one-on-one. Maybe you give it to LeBron. I say get the ball to LeBron, let him barrel his way into the paint. Whatever happens, happens. But, well, we saw what happened. I ain't got to give you a play-by-play of what happened right there at the end of the game. But that's it. I mean, there really ain't nothing else to say. I've been talking for 17 minutes, so I've said plenty. I want to know what y'all think. Is the reverse sweep in play? All right, Cavaliers fans, is it possible that this could be a reverse sweep, that the Cavaliers win 4 in a row? They were just setting up the Warriors to sweep them and beat them 4 games in a row, with 2 in Cleveland and 2 in Golden State, including a potential Game 7. Also, did I forget anything? Did I forget any factor that may be leading to this situation being what the situation is? That's it. I don't think there's anything else we need to discuss now. If the Warriors win the next game, I'm pretty sure. If the Warriors win next game, just based on what we've seen in the first 3 games, I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant would end up being MVP. Just how it's looking. And that's all we need to say. If the Warriors win, we'll talk about it at that point. If the Cavs win, then we got another game coming up. I believe that will be on Monday if they don't win on Friday. So everybody leave your comments down there in the comments. Y'all know what to do. I will talk to y'all Friday night, heading into Saturday morning, Eastern time in the USA. After Game 4. Reverse sweep? No? KD MVP? No? What's happening? Let me know. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Hey, witness on the beat.